Hello, I am Alana Jones, your moderator for the We Are CMP app. Welcome back to day 3 of the School Lunch Hero Week, our mini training Purpose Behind the Plate. So let's jump into it. So today's topic is something that I know we all love to discuss. It is paperwork and compliance. And what I want us to start thinking about is reframing the paperwork and the compliance that we complete on a daily basis. I want us to start thinking about compliance as care and power behind our paperwork. So let's jump into it. To be honest, some days the paperwork feels endless. It feels like it's all that we do. Depending on what role you play in your organization, some of the paperwork may fall on you, or maybe you just have a couple of pieces of it every day. But sometimes we're asking ourselves, why so many pieces of paper? Why so many question and answer? Why so many boxes to check? And so let's talk about it. Whether it be menus, production records, meal counts, inventory, or temperature logs, it is a lot. We're not going to say that it's not. It certainly is a lot. But here is the truth. Behind every checkbox is a child's dignity being protected. Okay? So let's unpack that a little bit. It's not just paperwork. It is proof that we care. Okay? Proof that we are going to agree to what we agreed to, that we're going to enforce what we agreed to. When we came into these programs, whether we be sponsors, whether we be directors, whether we be employees, we said we would follow a certain set of rules in exchange for the benefits of that position. Okay, so behind every checkbox is a child's dignity being protected. So here's the story. Over my career, I've been consulting for a number of years. I've been a director. I've also worked in childcare as a director of food programs. And during that time, I would partner with other organizations, either as consultant or, just helping out. And what I have found is that audits are stressful. Okay. Compliance can be challenging. And sometimes it just takes the wind out of us to go through those experiences. But there have been experiences that I've seen where organizations have really prevailed because of the paperwork. So let's just take one of these scenarios. There was a site that was once facing questions during their state audit. These consequences of what the questions were could have been severe. Okay, they could have been severe. But a complete production record showed every detail of the experience that they had, that they were being questioned about. What was bought, what was prepped, and what was served was detailed on that production record. That is what saved that organization from those severe consequences. When we are completing these forms, we are documenting the history of this program. And that is part of the requirement, okay? That's part of the requirement. So it's not just, taking a temperature every day because it's what we do. We do it to protect the program, okay? Temperatures in particular protect the safety of the program. When we talk about things like production records, that protects the purchasing, the procurement side of the program, and also details the meal counts and claiming. That information tells the story of how we use every federal dollar that we've spent in our program. And again, this is what we signed up for when we became members of the child nutrition profession. So in this scenario, this site, when the question came, the result is they found no findings, and they were found in full integrity of the program. So this wasn't just paperwork that day. That day, it was a defense. And that director and that manager and those employees could celebrate that they had passed that audit because they took the time to care enough to complete that paperwork and understand that it wasn't a burden, but it was instead protection and dignity for the program and for the children that they served. So here it is. let's reframe this. When we think of our documentation, let's begin to think of it as defense, okay? When we think about our meal patterns, let's begin to think of that as dignity, because compliance isn't our enemy, it's actually our armor. It's part of our superhero case to say that we are following the rules of this program to protect children and also to protect things like our jobs, okay? We're living in a season of life right now that every check and every balance is really being checked, okay? So we want to make sure that we are good stewards of our program, and compliance and the paperwork are a part of that. When we follow the rules, we don't just pass audits. We preserve equity, meaning that we ensure that every child receives what they are entitled to receive. As part of our program, we ensure that every dollar that we spend is stewarded correctly, that it is used in an appropriate way, that is used ethically. And also we protect the future of the programs, the future of our positions, the future of the meals, the healthy meals that we serve to children. So today's challenge is, I'd like you to tell me one way that you've turned either a form, a log, or a record into something that you're proud of, something that made a difference at your site or in your organization. Post it in the comments below or here in the chat in the We Are CMP app. And here is our reminder: your paperwork has power. You're not just checking boxes, you're building trust, you're guarding dignity, and ultimately that makes you a protector of purpose. See you tomorrow for our final training.